In the dense canopy of the Amazon rainforest, where the sun barely touched the ground, there existed a tribe untouched by time. The Akakea, as they were known, were rumored to practice cannibalism, a vestige of their ancient and enigmatic rituals. Outsiders spoke of them in hushed tones, and many believed them to be mere legend. But for Dr. Helena Brooks, a daring anthropologist, they were the subject of her life's work. Her opportunity came when an ancient map surfaced, purportedly leading to the heart of Akakea territory. Helena knew the risks. Many had ventured into the rainforest in search of the tribe and never returned. But the chance to prove their existence and understand their ways was too great to pass up. Gathering a small team of trusted colleagues and experienced guides, Helena set out on an expedition that would test the limits of their endurance and sanity. The rainforest was unforgiving. Insects, disease, and the relentless humidity were constant companions. Days turned into weeks as they followed the cryptic markings on the ancient map. One night, as they camped by the banks of a serpentine river, the forest fell silent, an ominous sign. The guides exchanged nervous glances, whispering that the spirits of the forest were restless. Helena tried to dismiss their fears as superstition, but the weight of the silence was suffocating. The following morning, they stumbled upon a grisly scene. The remains of a campsite, long abandoned, were scattered around a clearing. Among the detritus, they found a journal belonging to an explorer who had gone missing decades ago. The entry spoke of finding the Akakea and the terrible price he paid for his curiosity. The team was shaken, but Helena urged them forward. They were close, she could feel it in her bones. The map led them to a concealed path, overgrown and barely visible. As they pushed through the foliage, they entered a clearing, and there it was, the village of the Akakea, just as it had been described in the legends. The villagers watched them with an unnerving intensity, but there was no aggression in their stance. The chief, a man of imposing stature with intricate scars etched into his skin, approached Helena. His eyes locked onto hers, and a silent understanding passed between them. He spoke in a dialect that Helena had studied, his voice resonant and calm. "You seek knowledge," he said, "but some knowledge comes at a price. Will you pay it?" Helena nodded, her heart racing. This was the moment she had been waiting for her entire career. The chief led her to the center of the village, where a towering totem stood. The carvings on the wood seemed to dance in the flickering light of the torches, telling a story of a time when the earth was young and the spirits walked among men. "The secret of the Akakea," the chief began, "is not in flesh consumed, but in the life force shared. We partake only of those who offer themselves to the spirit of the jungle to become one with the essence of life and death. It is a sacred communion, one that binds us to the soul of the world." Helena listened, mesmerized. The cannibalism of the Akakea was not an act of savagery but a deeply spiritual practice, one that was voluntary and revered. She realized then that the Akakea were not just protecting their traditions, they were the custodians of a profound truth about the interconnectedness of all living things. As the chief continued to reveal the mysteries of his people, Helena knew that this knowledge was a treasure far greater than any she had imagined. She also understood that it was not hers to take. This story, like the spirit of the Akakea, belonged to the rainforest. And so Helena left the village with a promise to keep their secrets, carrying with her only the story of a people inextricably linked to the pulse of the earth, a story that would live on in her heart, untold but deeply honored. As Helena returned to her world, the dichotomy between the modern civilization and the untouched wisdom of the Akakea was stark. She grappled with her promise to safeguard their secrets while also feeling a professional obligation to share her findings with the academic community. The knowledge she carried had the potential to revolutionize the understanding of indigenous tribes and their practices. She decided to write a comprehensive journal detailing the ecological insights and sustainable practices of the Akakea without divulging the more sacred aspects of their culture. Her work drew significant attention, earning both acclaim and criticism. Some colleagues argued that by withholding information, Helena was not fulfilling her duty as a scholar. Others praised her for respecting the autonomy and wishes of the tribe. Meanwhile, the Akakea continued their ancient rituals, maintaining the balance of their world. But the modern world was encroaching. Illegal loggers and miners, driven by greed, began to infiltrate the Amazon, bringing with them destruction and disease. The Akakea, who had remained hidden for centuries, found their existence threatened not by curiosity but by cold indifference. The chief, sensing the change, sought out Helena. In a dream that was more than a dream, he spoke to her. "The spirit of the jungle weeps," he said. "The time has come for the Akakea to step out of the shadows. We need a voice that can bridge your world and yours." Helena awoke with a sense of urgency. She knew what she had to do. Using her influence, she organized a coalition of environmental groups, anthropologists, and indigenous leaders. Together, they launched a campaign to protect the Amazon and its inhabitants. Helena became the voice of the Akakaer, sharing their story and the imminent threat they faced while still keeping their most sacred truths hidden. The campaign gained momentum, catching the attention of the global media. People from all walks of life were moved by the plight of the Akakaea and the destruction of the rainforest. Protests, fundraisers, and petitions followed. Governments were pressured to act, and new laws were put in place to safeguard the Amazon and its people. In the midst of this whirlwind, Helena found herself at a crossroads. She had started as an observer, a chronicler of cultures, but she had become a protector and activist. Her journey with the Akakaea had transformed her in ways she could never have anticipated. Years passed, and the Akakaer, with the help of Helena's efforts, managed to push back the tide of destruction. The tribe remained a mystery to the world at large, a whisper of a legend in the vastness of the Amazon. But their influence, like the roots of the great trees, spread deep and wide. Helena retired from her position at the university, choosing instead to live among the Akakaer for months at a time. She learned their ways, their language, and their deep reverence for life. In return, she taught them how to navigate the complexities of the modern world, ensuring their survival for generations to come. The story of Helena and the Akakaer became a testament to the power of understanding, respect, and the indomitable human spirit. It was a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world waiting to be honored rather than conquered. And for those who are willing to listen, the earth has endless stories to tell.